Okay.
Hello, Suhu. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay. How are you coping up with the RMO and all?
Mm, well, first of all, I think they have to have a consistent name for it, lah. Whether it's
Right.
RMO ga, MCO
Or
ga,
MCO.
today I just saw RCO. So, let's have a consistent one. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but new surprise, a new announcement came out today about
Yep.
the extension by another 14 days, which was
Yes.
expected. Um,
Right.
However, that puts us about 1 week, about almost 10 days
Okay.
before Ramadan starts. And for trainers, that is downtime. So
Mm.
effectively, a lot of trainers are going to be looking at downtime all the way until middle of June when
Mm.
Puasa is over, when Ramadan,
Okay.
Raya and Puasa is over in that sense.
Right.
So
Mm.
crunch time for a lot of
Yeah.
trainers. I'm
Yep.
still waiting for the VUCA trainers to step up.
Right.
Have not seen any of the VUCA trainers coming out yet.
Right.
Um, we have seen a lot of the online marketing trainers coming out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's something to look at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of work and a lot of preparation that needs to be done.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So let's jump right in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yep.
let me just introduce you to everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have a lot of accolades. Okay, but let me just introduce you in a short way. Okay, so Suhu is a multiple international award-winning trainer and a leader in the training industry. Okay, so that's where I actually met Suhu, right, in a training networking event, and he actually connects more than 1,000 trainers together across ASEAN, and is deeply passionate to uplift and uphold the quality of training delivery. Okay, with the industry standards and ethics. Okay, his bigger mission is to positively impact 100 million lives by empowering 1,000 trainers across ASEAN. Did I introduce you right, Suhu?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. So
Yeah.
a quick one, Suhu. What do you mean by positively impacting 100 million lives?
That's a very good question. Actually,
Right.
I've been thinking about my purpose in life for some
Okay.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I started in training back in
Okay.
2008, but mainly
Okay.
in the areas of uh, mindset, in the areas of financial management. And in those days,
Okay.
I was actually using training more to drive business into my consulting uh, business. And
Mm-hmm.
back then in 2011, 2012,
Mm-hmm.
I was at a church service one day, and I was toying between staying in my business or changing into a different vocation. I had an opportunity to come to KL to become a head of training for a large contact center. And the church sermon was centered around uncovering the seed of human potential. So I took that as a message to come down to KL and be a full time corporate trainer.
All
Uh,
right.
so that's when I came down. And
Okay.
about 3 years ago, at another training program with a gentleman named Clinton Swain,
Mm-hmm.
I was asked to write my eulogy.
Eulogy.
And
Mm.
yeah, so
Okay.
in my eulogy, the number 100 million lives popped up. So
Mm.
I thought to myself, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do to impact 100 million lives.
Right. Right.
And of course, the first question I had in my mind was, how am I going to do that? Right? It's 100
Mm.
million lives.
Right.
Then I thought about, hey, I don't have to impact 100 million lives directly.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do is to uplift and empower the people around me for
Right.
them to be able to then empower people around them.
Right.
So I shifted my focus from corporate and sales training to
Mm-hmm.
more trainer development, empowerment work,
Mm.
working around the areas of lifting up and empowering trainers in
Right.
terms of the delivery, in terms of their subject matter expertise, in terms of their logistics, authority building, and so forth. So over the
Right.
last 3 years, I've been passionately building that, and that will be my personal mission before I die. I want to be able to lift up 1,000 trainers, and for them to be able to lift up more people around them, more trainers
Okay.
around them, and ultimately hitting 100 million lives before I pass on.
That's really awesome. I mean, I think talking about eulogy, that really brings up a lot of things, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like
Awesome.
I think that's what I want to be remembered for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Always when a eulogy comes up, uh, you know, it brings us, uh, it makes us think very deep about what
Mm,
we really want to do, right?
mm.
Thanks for sharing. Okay,
My
so
pleasure.
today let's get on to what that everyone is
Greetings.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Yes, three
So,
things you can do to thrive after the MCO.
mm, there's a lot of talk in the market right now
Right,
for trainers to go online and to do more things online.
right.
And the fact that the MCO is extended by another 14 days
Right.
makes a lot of people very happy, because it means more customers are going to go to their programs.
Mm,
I have been advocating online learning for a very long time earlier, but the
okay.
industry wasn't ready. In fact, even now, the industry is not ready.
Yep.
So instead of advocating online learning, I've actually taken a very opposite stance this time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the industry is not ready,
Mm-hmm.
jumping into online learning will actually negatively impact the trainer even more.
Okay. How so?
So number one, a lot of trainers are not ready for the difference. I give you an example. Now I'm holding up my left hand and I'm
Yeah.
talking to the screen, but I'm also looking
Yes.
at the screen reflecting my
Yeah.
left hand. So
Yes.
a lot of trainers are not trained to understand that, and it is very
Right.
disconcerting. Number
Yes.
two,
Yeah.
so trainers are not trained to understand how to deliver in front of a camera
Right.
without the audience there. Number
Right.
three,
Right.
trainers are not equipped to manage a virtual classroom, and we don't have the bandwidth now to bring in a team to do a studio shoot. There's so many
Yeah.
restrictions right now for trainers
Yeah.
to jump into online learning. So by
Right.
the time the trainers jump into online learning, the MCO will
Right.
probably be lifted by then, and these
Yeah.
trainers will have invested a lot of their hard-earned money into something that is nice to have,
Okay.
right? So
Right.
unless the trainers have a solid plan, what they're going to do with their online learning modules post
Mm-hmm.
MCO,
Right.
I am taking the stand that trainers should not jump into online learning.
That's a um, very interesting point of view because a lot of people have the strong urge to go online. Okay, just
Yes.
tell us more.
So I put up a few posts recently, and I'm
Right.
probably going to put up another one on Friday. The first post I put up is it's to ask trainers like to think. I'm not saying don't
Mm.
go online. Okay, don't get me
Right.
wrong. I'm not saying don't go
Yeah.
online. I'm saying think,
Yeah.
why are you going online? And
Mm.
what are you going to do after you get online? That's
Right.
one. The second thing to think about is this. Um, what is the method that
Mm-hmm.
you need and the apps tools that you need for you to go online? Because not all
Right.
tools are suitable for trainers right now. I can't do a studio
Mm-hmm.
shoot right now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
Uh, so how am I going to do it? Where am I going to shift, right?
Right.
That's what I want trainers to think about. The second video I put up
Right.
was a story. It just occurred in my head, and I was teaching this for many years in
Okay.
B2B selling skills, but it just
Okay.
occurred to me, what is the main difference? You see, a lot of the people who are training trainers how to go online
Right.
come from B2C market. So They sell direct on
Right.
Facebook, on
Right.
Facebook ads to the
Right.
individuals who will sign for their program.
Right.
But the corporate
Yes.
trainers in my community, they primarily work through training providers. They primarily work through, training departments, and they're selling the program to companies who will send the participants to the program. Now, it is just like this,
Mm-hmm.
having two-person. One is selling nasi kandar, and one is selling milk powder.
Yeah.
The person who's selling nasi
Right.
kandar very well, he knows how to sell it
Yeah.
because the people buying are the direct consumers. Now,
Right.
selling milk powder, you look at the nasi kandar man and go, I think he can teach me something. Maybe I can learn from
Mm.
him. And now this nasi kandar man sells a program for, let's say, 1,000 ringgit.
Right. Right.
This milk powder man may have the 1,000 ringgit,
Yeah.
invest in 1,000 ringgit, but he doesn't understand his product is completely different. He has
Mm.
to sell the milk powder firstly to the father who's going to make
Right.
a financial decision, then the mother
Right.
who's going to make the
Right.
decision based on what is nutritious and good for the children, and
Right.
then he has to sell it to the baby who's going to
Right.
consume the milk powder.
Yeah.
So
True.
applying the technique of the nasi kandar man
Mm-hmm.
in the milk powder industry will not work. So in the
Mm.
end of it, the only person who's going to profit is a nasi kandar man now has two sources of income. One is a nasi kandar selling. One is selling his how to sell nasi kandar for 1,000 ringgit. And the only one who's going to lose out are all the milk sellers.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying don't go online.
Right.
Again, I
Yeah.
reiterate,
Yeah.
there are great programs out there who is
Right.
teaching the trainers how to do the online marketing and be
Right.
effective in it post
Yeah.
MCO.
Yes. Yes.
Those are the programs that they need to think about because as the trainers get better and better in their personal branding, it will change the entire dynamics of the training industry.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be ready for that fallout, so to speak, where
Mm-hmm.
the emphasis now is on the trainer and not on the training providers. And that
Right.
change dynamics is going to be huge.
Right.
So is the industry ready for that? And are the
Mm.
trainers prepared for that happening?
Mm. Mm.
So that's the reason why I talk about, don't go online unless you're
Right.
ready. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Mm. So that being said, I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer the three questions before I go even further.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the three things you can do to thrive after MCO. Number one is see, I can't even get my hands right. Okay, so I gotta
Yeah.
remember. Number one,
I. I'm. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So number one, um,
Yeah.
look at your five pillars of the
Right.
training industry. Okay. What are
Right.
these five
Mm.
pillars? Number
Mm.
one is always your subject matter expertise. You need to use this time to build your subject matter expertise, meaning to say, dive into a lot of your core contents, dive into a lot of latest updates, latest understanding of the industry. For example, my passion and my industry is trainers in training, so I have explored um, different tools, different apps, different simulations, AR, VR, um, projection mapping, live interactive videos, videos that can change according to where you are, virtual classrooms, online classroom, pre-recorded classrooms, blended learning, flipped classroom. I've delved into that because I needed to understand what are the best methods for me to roll out. So whatever industry, whatever topic we are, now is the best time to delve deep into understanding our topic. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to build on our delivery. A lot of trainers are good in the classroom face-to-face delivery already, but now is the time for us to brush up and practice our non-face-to-face delivery. How do you practice
Mm-hmm.
your hand gestures in a limited scope? Like, I'm used to see left and right. I'm used to all the way here, hands up, big gestures. Now I have to limit it to around this range. So, how do I get my body used to that? Yeah.
Right.
What else about delivery? The delivery now is to understand the difference between training and learning, right?
Mm.
It's a very
Mm.
different thing. Learning is to understand how will the participant be able to catch and internalize in the fastest, shortest possible time. 2 years back, I did a project for a client. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
to video 60 hours of my class and
Okay.
convert it to an online learning program.
Okay.
Okay, so the royalty for that is a one-off payment. They paid me, they came in, they videoed 6 days of my actual live training.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then they videoed another few snippets from my other programs. They combine
Okay.
all 60 hours together. They then start trimming away at all the case studies, the stories,
Right.
the metaphors, the examples, the icebreakers, the activities, the role play, the discussions. They trim everything away, and
Mm.
suddenly they're left with,
Oh,
you're laughing there already, isn't it?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Yeah, you know, by experience, a 1 day, 7 hour class, if you trim away at all of the fluff, especially in the world where right now we are doing 70% experiential, 30%
Right.
lecture, you are
Yes.
left with 30% lecture lah, 2 hour in a typical 7 hour program.
Right.
Trainers don't see that happening yet. They don't understand that that is coming yet.
Mm.
So that's what I mean by honing our delivery skills. The third thing that is crucial to do is to build our authority. Right now is the best time to build authority to our clients.
Mm.
It's the best time to build our authority in the market. While everybody is panicking and fear mongering, some of them are profiteering. Now is the time to go out there and give and give and give. Because before MCO happened, we have been blessed enough. That's why we are now in a position to give back. It is not a position where we give now and expect a return later. It is the fact that we have received so much blessings in the past. Now is the time for us to give. So, authority building, building the online presence, building the online content. That's what I mean when I ask trainers, do you know what to do with your content? Because think about this, right? If I do a virtual class today and I video and I record my Zoom, my video class, my virtual class, I can then edit the content of my virtual class into mini 3 to 5 minute content, which can be the basis and the foundation of my online learning content,
Mm.
which then, when
Yes.
post MCO, becomes my pre-programmed videos.
Right.
And then in the training room, I don't have to run through the contents again. I will focus on the application of the content, and then I give them 1 month to apply, and then I come in again to do a checkup on how they have been implementing. And suddenly, guess what? I am no longer doing a Kirkpatrick level 1 training where it's just post training, are they happy? I am now doing a behavioral change Kirkpatrick 3, level 3 training program where I can price and I can market at a much higher level because it ensures actual application of the contents.
So you're saying, let me just get this right, right? So what you're saying is, they see the content first online,
Yep,
and then when you actually go in for the training, you
yep.
can go dive in at a much deeper level, and actually
Hmm. Exactly.
see what they have been already doing
Hmm.
with the content that they have shown earlier. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have, instead of a 2 day teaching
Yep.
content, you're
Mm.
actually now doing 1 day implementation
Mm-hmm.
and check on the understanding. They
Right.
may brainstorm and work out all the things. And then after that, like 1 week after that, or 2 weeks after that, or 1 month after that, come back in and check on their actual implementation results.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I think that will be
Okay.
a lot more powerful. Yeah. So that's the
Yeah,
third pillar,
definitely. Yeah.
authority
Mm.
building. Fourth and fifth pillar, you can't really do much during the lockdown anyway. Fourth pillar is sales. Are you building your sales and conversion pipeline? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fifth one is logistics, your in-room logistics. Yeah. So fourth and fifth usually during this period you might not be able to do. But pillar number one, pillar number two, pillar number three, build on it. It's definitely going to help you in the long run.
Right. Okay. Uh, when you say the last one, right? Just to clarify, in-room technology you mentioned,
In-room logistics.
logistics. Okay.
Logistics meaning your ability to manage your room
Mm-hmm.
seamlessly. You know, your workbooks go out. If
Right.
participants don't have a pen, you get it
Mm.
done. Um, which is a very big difference between the superstar trainers, the rock star trainers, and the
Right.
typical trainers, right? So
Right.
in some programs, you go there, you know, everything's handled for you. The workbooks look great, beautiful. The
Mm-hmm.
trainers look wow. But then in some
Mm-hmm.
class, you go is like, yeah, you know. So
Mm-hmm. Mm.
that's number five. That's the fifth pillar.
Right. 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 Okay, awesome, awesome. If listeners out there, if you have any questions, please kindly just type it down so that we can go on and ask Suhu these questions. But meanwhile, Suhu, could you help to summarize again the first 3 points that you shared again?
Okay, so the five pillars
Yep.
consist of number one,
Mm-hmm.
your subject matter expertise.
Right.
You need to be able to internalize and really, really know that. Number
Okay.
two is your delivery,
Mm-hmm.
the range and variance of your ability to deliver the subject matter that you know. Looking for my figure. Number three is your authority. Do people
Right.
know you? Do people know of you? Yeah.
Right.
That's the three things that you really need to work on.
Okay.
Mm.
Question again, just a
Yeah.
question. What do you mean by increasing the range of delivery? Could you express about that a little bit more?
Okay. So as a trainer, most trainers are used to be able to do number one, lecturing, speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Number
Mm-hmm.
two, maybe some role play, discussion, interaction.
Right.
Number three, they are able to read the room because they're
Right.
there,
Okay.
but they need to also increase things like the ability to coach with the right questioning tools. They need to be
Mm.
able to facilitate the room. They
Okay.
need to be able to design simulations and games. They need
Right.
to be able to facilitate simulations and games.
Right.
They need to be able to now understand how to do online live virtual class.
Right.
And the tools to engage people in a virtual class is very different from a tool in an actual live training. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. I have a question now. Um, okay. Just a minute. Let me get the questions out. Okay, the first question is by Jasbir Kaur, okay,
Mhm.
from LinkedIn. And the question is, tell us more about Vuca Trainers.
Mm. So VUCA has been a buzzword for the last 2 to 3 years. VUCA stands for
Right,
volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world, and it's actually a
okay,
terminology borrowed from military, where
right,
they have to have the mindset to adapt and change in the fastest possible time. So about 3 years back, a lot of trainers jumped into training VUCA leaders, training agile leaders, uh,
mm,
business agility, VUCA world, right?
right,
My question and my shout out to them is this: where are you today?
okay,
Because we are in a VUCA time right now.
mm,
So my first question is, come and share, come and lead, come and, you know, work with us to hold the hands of the community together.
Right.
Uh, I connect over 1,000 trainers on WhatsApp alone.
Right.
That's excluding, you know, Facebook groups, right? And
Mm.
I have recently, because of the MCO, pulled
Right.
together different community leaders.
Right.
There are some SME community leaders out there. There's some startup community leaders out there. A lot of leaders are doing a lot of individual effort to hold their community together.
Right.
I call this the drum beaters group. It's a
Okay.
temporary group of
Right.
people who are beating the drums in the darkness of the night.
Mm.
So if you can
Interesting.
imagine right now, the people are lost in a dark jungle,
Yep.
and or in the distance you can hear drums.
Yeah.
That drum beating actually gives you comfort and gives you
Mm.
assurance that you are
Mm.
not alone. And
Right.
that's the reason why I put together the drum beaters in that sense,
Right.
because
Right.
these are all the community leaders who are sharing positive news, positive
Mm.
uh, uh, ideas, best practices, what they're doing in all the different places. You know, traditionally, my groups are not very noisy group. It's generally
Mm-hmm.
quite quiet, but
Right.
because of the MCO, we are flooding. We are flooding the groups with information. We are flooding the groups with news. We are flooding
Right.
the groups with different things,
Right.
because in a time like this, people need to feel safe, and in order for them to feel safe, they need information.
Yeah.
So we are doing our best to hold that and pull that
Mm.
together.
Mm.
MAPTAG, which is a Malaysian Association of Professional Trainers and Coaches, have also initiated through Sunil, the president,
Mm-hmm.
a hotline for all the
Okay.
frontliners, the
Mm-hmm.
medical profession, the doctors, and so forth, for
Right.
them to call in. And it's like a counseling hotline, and we are very happy that we have a lot of uh, registered coaches, certified coaches who are stepping up, and counselors even stepping up to volunteer in the hotline. We are also have built a very small content building group, focused on sending out more positive messages out into the industry, into the in Malaysia as a whole. You know, and we need a lot more of the drum beaters to come together and just beat the drums together.
Yeah. That's very interesting. The drum beaters. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I think something caught my um, w- what you know what you were saying about Sunil just now,
Mhm.
and the um, where you get people who can are feeling stressed up and everything, they can call in.
Mhm.
How is the response there?
Oh, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
On average, and it's picking up. It's
Yeah.
increasing.
Yeah.
Day one, we saw over 100 calls come in.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
um, we are seeing now in day two onwards. It's trending between 130 to 180 uh,
Wow. Calls a
and
day.
calls a day,
Okay.
and I think they're doing a wonderful job. So, you know, I mean, I don't know if you can clap your hands, but if you can have access to people like Sunil, people like Jaya
Right.
Perumal, the two of them
Right.
were spearheading the initiative.
Awesome.
Wonderful initiative, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
We also
And would
have
you know?
people. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sue.
Okay,
Sorry.
we also have people like Sanmuga who's stepping out to coordinate the supply, the coordination of supply and donations. So there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
individual requests by doctors and hospitals for
Right.
supplies, and he's driving the initiative to coordinate all of that so that there's no duplication. We've got a
Mm.
wonderful drum beater who's been beating drums every single crisis. His name is William Chia from
Wow.
Kembara Kitchen.
Okay.
These guys have been always like within 24 hours on the ground, full flash kitchen setup, for any flood, any kind of like national crisis. They are mobilizing thousands of packets of food, not just for the frontliners, but also
Okay.
for a lot of the elderly who are not able to go out and buy food stuff. So they're like doing a
Right.
massive good job over there as well. Um, and
Okay.
overall, I think the whole industry is coming together to do that, because trainers, right? We have been paid to do counseling, coaching all our lives, as a career, as a profession, and I think that's when the country needs it.
Yeah, especially right now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So what are the nature of call-ins, during this time? I mean, this is something else, but
Mhm. Uh,
why do people call in? What do they, what do they talk about?
Mainly, we are looking at a lot of calls coming in because of just having a place to de-stress, to voice out.
Right, right, right.
We have also have some more serious cases as well. Um, so the community is responding as best it can. Um, we are also encouraging and working with a lot of trainers to offer our contents for free to each other, so that we
Mm-hmm.
can share
Mm-hmm.
experience and share knowledge. Uh, one other person that we would like to note, an organization, Red One, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Red Tone. I think they have been very supportive as well. Yeah.
In what ways?
Um, we are working with them to help us deploy a call mechanism for the hotline. And the
Okay.
new hotline should be out within the next 2 or 3 days.
Awesome, awesome. So would you need more volunteers for the hotline?
Right now, we are good, but should
Okay.
there be a request, should there be a need, we will definitely
Right.
announce it in the communities.
Okay. Who should they call if they want to, people who are who wants to be, volunteers? Who should they
Mm,
call to
right
volunteer?
now, to be honest, right now, we don't need new volunteers yet. But
Okay.
should we have a need, they can always contact yourself and you can
Okay.
channel it
Okay.
to us, or
Awesome. Yeah.
they can contact myself
Okay.
in my LinkedIn or Facebook, Suho
Okay.
Master Trainer, or
Right.
they can contact MapTech, Malaysia Association of Professional Trainers and Coaches.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great work you guys are doing there. Seriously.
thank you.
Great
Thank
work.
you.
Okay, we got another question, okay,
Mm-hmm,
by Dr. Amrita, also
mm-hmm,
from LinkedIn.
mm-hmm.
Her question is, what is the objective of going online? Okay. And then number two is tools to be used and who is
Who are
the
the target
target
audience?
audience? Yes. Are you seeing them?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay,
Okay.
so to answer that question, number one, the
Yeah.
objective of going online really depends on the trainer.
Right.
Not every trainer is ready to go online. And
Okay.
if you're not, there's no purpose for you to go online, because
Mm-hmm.
at most, the MCO is going to extend, uh, probably worst case scenario, it will hit Puasa, right?
Right.
And then
Which is end
it'll,
of April, right?
yeah, worst case, end of April, correct.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you have 1 month of Puasa,
Right.
and maybe 2 weeks of Raya, and then
Right.
it's back to, generally business as usual.
Right. Right.
So if you're not ready and you don't have a purpose of going online, it
Right.
is better to build all the other things that you can,
Yeah.
right? Redo your slides, redo your workbooks. I still have trainers who use the slides as their workbook, and their excuse is, I don't have
Mm.
time, right? And now you have time.
Right.
Go do
Okay.
something about it.
No excuses, right?
Yeah, no excuses.
Mm.
I'm actually a lot more busy today and nowadays than I am on a training
I
day.
noticed.
Yeah. So that's
Mm.
to answer question number one, objective of going online.
Right.
But
Right.
some trainers have a long-term plan of going online. Like for myself and a lot of
Okay.
my mentee, I tell them, look, you can
Mm.
go online now as a short-term measure, okay,
Right.
to tie over the situation,
Right.
and then use the contents that you have been building online for your blended classroom programs.
Right.
So now is the opportunity to do that. Okay, that's the objective. What are the tools used? It really depends. There's so many tools available. You have pre-recorded live video shoot. You
Mm.
have calling in talents to shoot the videos. Um,
Right.
you have like a virtual interaction. You can have a two-way interview. You can have a virtual classroom. You can have just static slides. You
Right.
can have slides with voiceover. You can have
Right.
animation. You can have slides with animation. So many tools. Okay.
Right.
What I would say is uh, use the tool that you're most comfortable with. And for
Right.
many trainers, that will simply mean get onto Zoom, okay?
Okay.
Record your Zoom,
Okay.
okay? Zoom has a monthly subscription,
Okay.
$15 US.
Right.
Subscribing for the next 3 to 4 months. It's not going to
Yes.
cost you a lot.
Right.
And that will be the basis of your virtual classroom program.
Right.
So you can actually share screen and use
Right.
your PowerPoint slides, and you
Right.
still have your voiceover reading
Mm.
the content, telling the stories, asking the questions. Let them do breakout sessions where they can do group
Right.
discussions, bring them back,
Right.
presentations, more
Right.
contents, more breakout.
Mm.
In fact, to be very honest, the
Right.
lecturers, the
Mm-hmm.
chalk and talk trainers,
Mm-hmm.
trainers who were having a lot of challenges with the young community, young audience
Right.
today,
Right.
their skill set is probably going to save them in this period because
Why
they
do
are
you see that?
used to. Most of the time, the older generation of trainers who do chalk and talk, they
Yes.
tend to they tend to have overly high level of content over
Right.
activities.
Okay. Okay.
In a virtual classroom, that's what is going to do is going to make it
Mm.
powerful because it's content giving. Okay, now you're going to break into small groups, do your group
Right.
discussion, come back,
Right. Mm.
and that's what they have been used to all their
Right.
life.
Right.
So in fact, I think these guys are going to do much better than the high level simulation brainstorming type of trainers, right? I think
Right.
that
Right. Right.
those guys are going to rock it in this period of time. uh,
Interesting. Interesting.
So,
Right.
to answer the third question, who is the target audience? Again, it depends on your business model. You know, you have three people to satisfy. You
Right.
have your company; they have to
Right.
be satisfied that virtual is the way to go for now.
Right.
Otherwise, they're going to pull back their funds, right?
Right.
Second one, you have to satisfy the audience themselves, the participants themselves. They need to be engaged. They need to want to learn from you. And
Yeah.
thirdly, you also need to make sure you can get the training managers to forget their bad experience with LMS in the past, forget
Mm.
their bad experience with online learning in the past, and just focus. Because bear in mind, the statistics for online learning is that 4% complete their online lessons. We're not even
4%.
talking. We're not even talking about implementation and absorption. It's
Right.
completion. 4%
Oh my God. Yeah.
completes. It's actually 3 plus something percent. But
Yeah. It's so easy to just drop off halfway, and no one will really notice.
yeah, so there's no skin in the game.
Mm.
There's no reason for them to stay on.
Right.
They're gonna go. So it's a
Right.
matter of how are you gonna blend your lesson into
Right.
something that they want to learn.
Mm. Okay. Okay. An interesting thing, right? Now, because things are online, how do you organize breakout sessions?
So in Zoom, you are
Mhm.
actually allowed to do breakout rooms.
Okay.
So don't take the free Zoom. Free Zoom is 40
Okay.
minutes.
Right.
Even with the extension, you get about 70 max, right?
Right. Right.
Subscription is only $15 US. So it works
Yes.
out to about 75, right?
True.
I've
True.
used that. So it allows breakout. The second thing I use is, and I tell trainers this, combine your technology. You can always use WhatsApp.
Mm.
You create mini WhatsApp
Mm.
groups for the classroom according to
Right.
the groups that they're in,
Right.
and they can communicate on their WhatsApp. They
Right.
come back to Zoom, and then they share the
Right.
information in Zoom.
Awesome. That's a superb idea actually. So they can do really, yeah, it's a good point, very good point, because
Yeah.
I was always wondering how do people do breakouts and group discussions and all that. Yeah, and we forget about WhatsApp, right, with all the technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Simple,
Okay.
simple, 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 easy, free is best.
Yes. Okay, so Hu, before we end today, can you just share with the audience here what kind of trainings you do, so that they can get to know Suhu?
Okay, so I do mainly number one, because of my vision of 100 million lives. I do trainer
Right.
development programs, like
Okay.
we have a MWS licensed trainer program,
Okay.
where we not only train them, we
Right.
empower them
Okay.
with contents. At the end of the program, they get one full set of slides, workbooks, trainer manual that they
Okay.
can run one title.
Okay.
MWS also has 96 other titles that they can pick up for
Right.
them to use. We have
Okay.
over 1,000 activities on our partners portal. We have over 300 training contents that are not licensed that we share with our community
Okay.
and our partners and our trainers. Number
Okay.
two, I do NLP practitioner programs.
Okay.
Number three, I do sales programs. So, what I'm very passionately doing right now, over the next now 21 days coming,
Right.
I'm going to roll out three of this
Mm-hmm.
uh, virtual,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, free for the community.
Awesome.
Um,
Wow.
and it's going to be rolled out for MapTech members particularly.
Okay. Okay.
And we have decided and agreed in the exco that MapTech membership will be free for 2020.
Wow.
So I think we unlike trainers who are taking advantage of this situation to
Right.
buff up their coffers. The
Right.
reason we are doing this is because we want to reverse the trend.
Right.
We want to get the trainers to come in and give.
Right. Um, that's really good to hear, Suhu. That kind of initiatives you guys are doing. Really good. Okay, so we have one more question. Okay,
Yep.
before we finally end, from Mahaze, LinkedIn, right? How you mentioned about VR and AR. Okay, how do you teach immersive technology at a time like this? You need the tools and hardware. How do you overcome it?
Cannot be
Interesting.
done.
Sorry,
Cannot be done.
cannot be done.
um, okay, so at the forefront,
Right,
here
right,
of virtual learning,
right,
uh, is Tony Robbins. Okay,
right, right,
he has deployed holographic training
right.
where
Holographic training. Okay,
yeah, where he's training in US, and
right,
a hologram of him is doing the same training
right.
in Australia. Okay,
Okay, okay. That
uh,
means he's up on stage and all.
he's up on stage in US,
Okay.
and his hologram is up on stage in Australia.
Wow.
Okay, the challenge is you can't feel his presence because it's a holographic image, right?
Yes, yes.
So to overcome that, what they actually did was they hook up the priority, the VVIP, with
Okay,
sensors,
right.
and the sensors will create a simulated experience of him in the room.
Okay.
But it's still limited. Okay,
Yeah.
we can't do AR learning.
Okay.
Um, wait, we can. Okay,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah.
We can actually do AR learning
Right.
if we can create the AR experience on a live website,
Right.
and the participants download the AR app, onto
Okay.
their phone, we
Right.
can actually still do AR learning. It's like AR learning on books.
Right.
They are actually children's books where you download an app and when you scroll
Yeah.
over the book, the AR experience happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can still
Yeah.
do that AR learning
Right.
on a web.
Right.
VR, if you want to do it, you will have to deploy your VR goggles across to your students. They
Okay.
finish and then you connect it back. It still can be done,
Right.
but I will not advise it.
Right.
The amount that you need to spend to build something like this for use over a period of 6 months, I think is
Right.
just too much. You know,
Right. Right.
instead, I would suggest go simple, go small, um, go back to basics, Zoom, WhatsApp, um if you want, Survey Monkey or Google Form to do the
Right.
quizzes,
Right.
um, and just use it.
All right. Super. All right. Thank you very much, Suhu.
Yes.
Any last words before we exit?
So my last message will be this:
Right.
for any of the trainers who want to go online,
Right.
really a reminder is think carefully what you're going to do
Okay.
when the movement restriction is lifted.
Hmm.
What are you going to do with the contents that you've built? And if you
Right.
have you have a purpose for it,
Right.
then go online.
Okay.
Otherwise, build your online profile.
Right. Awesome. Build your online profile, meaning like update,
Uploading.
update
Correct.
your blog. I
Mhm.
see. Okay,
Yeah,
Suhu, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing today. Thank you for your time.
my pleasure.
And I
My
think
pleasure.
you added a lot of value to everyone who's watching here today. Okay, this
Thank you.
session will be recorded and it will be also feel free to come back and connect. And you can always reach Suhu, okay, on LinkedIn. You can just type there Soohoo. Okay, let me just type it down. Just give me a minute. Suhu. Okay, his name is pretty unique. Okay, let me just see this. Okay, his name is Suhu. You can actually find him. Okay,
Yeah, you can put
it's
Suhu
the name.
Master Trainer. It's easier to find.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Just give me just let me
sure,
change this right now.
sure.
Suhu Master Trainer in both FB and uh, LinkedIn. Same
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Okay, Suhu Master Trainer. Let me just update this. Look
Not
him
very
up.
humble sometimes.
You shouldn't be. Yeah, a lot of trainers are too humble, right? Sometimes. Okay, so look Suhu up at Suhu Master Trainer in both LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can definitely find him. If you really can't find him, you can always message me, and I will help you to connect with him. All right, so over and out. Thank you so much, Suhu,
Thank you.
and
Bye bye.
bye everybody for listening in. Thank you, and over and out. Bye.